Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, yes, we're working on the Kia once more, and unfortunately this time we have failed on inner tie rods. They have both failed, and when I was inspecting it as well, the steering rack is leaking. So in this video we are also replacing the steering rack and the inner tie rods. So here we are with the steering rack. What we have to do is release all the nuts and bolts. So these are 19s, these are 17s, another one up there. The two hydraulic lines are 17s. The nut up there is, I think, a 12. That one there is a 10. And the two way off up there are 14s. And of course, we need to do this one in here, which is a 22. And we need a number 13 to hold the inner tie rod. Oh, and to undo the inner tie rod, that big nut up there that actually holds on the whole tie rod, you'll need the 36 spanner. And don't forget the little sensor. So yeah, loads of bolts. And why didn't they use them all the same numbers? I don't know, but that's what we're about to do. So let's undo all of this and talk to you then. Next thing we're going to do, drain the system, and then we're going to take out the whole steering rack. Why are we taking out the steering rack and not just replacing the ends? Well, we've knocked off the ends here. You can see there's oil just coming out of here, and on the other side, some sort of weird porridge. So obviously, yeah, the steering rack is bent. So we have a new second-hand steering rack to be replaced, or reconditioned steering rack into its place. Why not I buy a new one? Because prices range between 400 and 1,000 euros. So yeah, second-hand one, way cheaper, but obviously there's the same problem again, because apparently the seals are just known to be shit. So we're going to replace the seals and see how we get on. So now that that's all off, this one goes out, we pull in the new one, and get ready to reinstall. And ta-da! Okay, so we got the old steering rack now out, and we just look at the end joints. So yeah, completely flopping around. It's leaking there, and yeah, it's not looking too good for the steering rack. So yeah. Okay, so now we're going to replace it. Okay guys, so that's now the two steering racks side by side. So that's the one we took out. This is the one we're putting back in. It's all been rebuilt, so we have new seals just here and in the middle. The old one was completely bent, and after spotting something, there is a big hole in that gator, and that's probably why this one is completely flopping around and it's bent. And inside it, there it is. Yeah, look, you can see porridge inside it, so it's this white, greyish stuff. So that's complete dirt. Is after going in, probably made a emery paste of everything. So the piston and the seals and everything are completely shot in this one. I could rebuild it, but if the piston is anyway damaged, you're at a lost cause anyway. So that one is done, and we'll take on this one here. Now, this one here wasn't in that good a shape either. Both seals were gone in it as well, but there's no porridge. It looked a lot better. I probably could have gotten away with the original seals, but say when I'm in this far, I'm going to replace the seals, and then I have 100% no leak. So I have new end links. You can't see them now anyway. There's new end links on the or inner tie rods, I think they're called. So two new inner tie rods as well. So everything has been rebuilt and it's ready to go back into the Kia. Okay, now with some careful lifting, we have the steering rack back in place. So we just have that bolt shoved into there, a nut holding on the top of the rack. And now we're going to go all the way up there and tighten up that shaft there that actually connects the steering wheel to the steering rack. So the next thing is to get this little collar on, which joins the steering wheel to the steering rack. So at the very top, at the very back, just back here where you see my finger, you can see that there's one spline missing. So you can see it all the way in there. So that links on to this shaft here. See, there's a flat side, that's where the nuts and bolts go through. And on the far side, there's a flat spot just there. And the same on the actual steering wheel. That shaft comes down and it's splined again. So you just line up the two of them and it should just slide straight up. Next we have this splined, so it can only go up in one direction, just put it straight up. Okay, and that's it now in place. Okay, now we have our nuts and bolts in, so now to go underneath and start bolting up the rest of the steering rack. Okay, that's now the whole steering rack reinstalled. Okay, now we have the tracking system all set up. We're going to look down at the periscope and see what it's like. Very quickly how the tracking alignment system works is you have two of these. This one here is on the driver's side, that's on the passenger side, and there's a plate here. The plate is in the shape of a H, with a line in the center and a very skinny little line down the center here. So when you look down the periscope, you go look down here, you look all the way across, there's a mirror here on the far side. The light is then bounced back and you see a little tiny line just here in the center. That can be adjusted for left and right here, which will also turn this plate left and right. When you look in the periscope, what you're trying to do is line up this single line here with this line here, because this plate here can rotate this way. So you're trying to get the light and the line to line up perfectly. And when they line up perfectly, then you'll read it off here. So I didn't explain it very well. For a rear-wheel drive vehicle like the Kia Sorento is, it's toe in, and for a front-wheel drive like a Golf or a Passat, it's front-wheel drive, so you want toe out. So this is obviously for toe in. Up here was for toe out. So we were on 0. So that's 0 toe, 0 in and out. And then you have it in degrees of minutes and 1 degree. So obviously 30 minutes is going to be a half a degree, because that's half of 60, which is 1 minute. So yeah, you have 30 seconds or 30 minutes, whatever it is here, and then you have 1 degree. So obviously 30 is half. So yeah, we are looking for the Kia Sorento somewhere between 0 and 0.2 degrees. So basically that is 10 seconds here, or just barely a little bit of toe in, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to go down now and adjust the wheels either side. We're going to turn the inner tie rods so that the wheels will either point in or point out. We're going to actually turn them both in because they're currently at 1 degree and they're meant to be at 0.1 degree. So I have the same PSI in both wheels. The steering wheel is perfectly dead straight. We're going to turn the inner tie rod the same distance on either side. Come up, readjust these, because they will, as the wheels move, we'll have to readjust these here, and same on the far side, and then we'll read it off. So currently we have 1 degree of toe in. So it means the front of the wheel, which is up, this bit up here, is pointing into the car, and the back of the wheel is pointing out. So we want to go the opposite. So we're going to tighten this. So instead of being out here, it's going to pull it back in. And we're going to do the same on this side. For the number of turns, we're going to pull it back in. So each of them will have the same number of turns, because obviously the steering wheel, we want to be straight. So that's what we're going to do now. So after turning the inner tie rod 1 full revolution, you can see it's still touching here, but this side here, there's a gap. So we're just going to lift that, move it back in. So we'll do the same on the other side, and then we'll read off the measurement. Okay, I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to see it or not. There we go, look. It's bang on in the middle. Okay, now we come down and we read off whether it's toe in or toe out. So that's toe in, that's toe out up here. There's 0, and this is in degrees of minutes. So there's 30 minutes, which would be half a degree. So we're between, say, like the two of them. So we're probably at 15, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, which is probably about 0.25 of a degree, which is exactly what we want. So yeah, bang on, woo! Now I could keep adjusting that to get back to 0, and I like a little bit of toe in, so when you're driving on the road, your car will actually stay stationary, where if you had it exactly at 0, it could start to wander a little bit. So having it a little bit of toe in should be correct, so it should be okay. So what we'll have to do is roll the Kia forwards and backwards, and then read it again, because there might be a little bit of binding just happening, but I actually think that's so close, it's not going to make much difference. Okay, so just adjust the steering wheel and rock the Kia forward and backwards, retest it again, everything is set up, and oh, maybe you can't see it, but it is 0.1 of a degree, or 10 minutes toe in. So that is absolutely correct. That's what it says on the spec sheets. So everything seems to be correct. So yep, really happy with that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe over there. And as always guys, thanks for watching. See you later.